Hey guys, Christopher here, Christopher Robin here. I have to switch it up with the camera angle, that way I can correctly read my words as I'm pretending to drive. And as you can see over here, it's like the Weather Channel, you know how they're looking like over here, it's like, and as you see over here, as they're looking at the green screen, pointing at the, what's over here on the, as you see over this way here, that the Eagle has landed, and the Eagle has landed November 14th, and so you got 7 days until November 21st, and then you got 40 days until, you know, just count up your freaking days yourself. Oh, here he goes with the dates and the numbers again. I told you guys I'm not setting any more dates. I'm just going to constantly remind you of this one, because I know that the people that are getting ready to partay, it irritates the shit out of them. It does. So the Eagle has landed. Just take a look at the picture of Winter Storm Avery, and it is hitting the East Coast as the fire's coming from the west side, and you got Sodom and you got Gomorrah. Sodom's getting burned up. Gomorrah's getting trampled by the Avery. And then we're going to see some more miracles, signs, and wonders in the heavens. I wanted to tell a little story. I said it before. And it's about a man named David, who was the Goliath at my job site in Downingtown. And what had happened was, and this is for the people that haven't heard it before. I said it, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. It's about the guy named, his literal name was David Ficatoro or something like that. And he was a very heavy set man. He was a maintenance manager. That's something in my eye. It's a plank. I gotta take. Let me take my plank out of my eye first. He was a maintenance manager for home properties. Well, actually, he was a maintenance manager for the company beforehand that Home Properties bought over, and I worked for Home Properties. And they decided to start doing upgrades on the apartments. Now, this guy, he never did any upgrades before. He never did remodel. He just sat down on his chair. And mind you, he's a big man. And the reason why I say he's a big man, because it kind of shows the motive a little bit. 350 plus, okay, 350 plus. And he had 3 maintenance guys under him that were there. Everybody was there before I came there. Everybody was already at that land. And it's a parallel to what I'm getting prepared for right now here on the YouTube platform. I proved to my boss, you know, the Lord, I proved to him that, well, I can handle this job beforehand, that I was groomed to kind of manage and work as the construction manager. I guess, I don't know, I didn't have a title. I just got prepared for it. So at the one job site, the guy, his name was Tom, who ran that job, right? And he was like me. He was respectful. He got the job done. He knew how to talk to people correctly, and he knew how to go tell you to go F yourself very politely. It was, I'm telling you, it's the most miraculous thing I've ever seen him do. And I said it to him at one time, like, man, you really know how to tell people to go fuck themselves kindly. He's like, I know, yeah, it's a gift. Like, it sure is. And So, but he, at the first job, you know, everything went smooth. Everything just, because I was already there on that job, and I welcomed the new guy there, and he knew what he was doing when it comes to upgrades, and I knew what I was doing when it comes to upgrades. Also, he knew what he was doing when it came to ordering the materials, and I knew what I was doing when it came to putting those materials in the right place. I'm gonna try to park somewhere away from everybody, but I'm sure people flock. That's just what they do. Now, the guy, his name is Tom, who was more like the heaven sent, right? And then the other guy's name was Dave at the other job. And now Dave was very lazy, okay? And when I first went to the job, we remodeled the first apartment, and I gave him all the materials, the list that he needed to write down, to scribe down on his piece of paper that he needed to write down, And it went very smooth for the first apartment, considering he never did it before, and he's ordering stuff, and it's fine. The next apartment came around, which was the supervisor's apartment, who was on that job at the Milltown job, Doylestown. I just call it Milltown. It was her apartment. Real nice lady. She didn't want to get involved with all this shenanigans, but she had to, you know. Now, when it came to her apartment getting done, Dave came to me and said, "Where's the material list for the apartment?" I said, "What do you mean, where's the list? I gave it to you with the other apartment. It's kind of like the same, where, you know, there's 1 bedroom, there's 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, you know, there's 1 2 baths, 1 bath, 2 bath, whatever. You gotta adjust for it. Okay, thanks. Just let me know when the material gets here." Oh boy, from that day on, and look, I worked there for 1.5 years. 1.5 years until I was finished with my work that I needed to do on that job. And so I never quit, is what I'm trying to tell you. I was finished with my job that I needed to do, which is coming very shortly with this YouTube platform. But very soon, I and others will be finished with our testimony, and God will be done using us, and then it's time for the deception of, it's time for Satan to really get them back, okay? So needless to say, I'll try to get to the point, if I can, without dragging on for 33 whole minutes, but hey, at least I know I got 33 minutes to talk. So, the guy didn't like that at all. He didn't like that, and because he didn't like that, and the apartment barely got finished, purposely, okay, by him, I knew it, okay, right off the bat, I knew it, but I couldn't prove it. It was all circumstantial. So what I did was I took my little notepad, and I started writing down what I needed to write down, with stuff he wasn't ordering, the stuff he said he ordered, the stuff that wasn't there, the day that it got there, meaning like 2 days before the apartment settles, that kind of stuff. So I kept track of all this stuff, which was extra work for me. I wasn't supposed to do this extra work. I spent a lot of time doing homework instead of actual work. And I wasn't even supposed to do work. I was supposed to just run the job. But because I hired, you know, family members and friends and flunkies and whatever, it's just a lot of things went wrong. I hired my brother-in-law, who just couldn't stop drinking and smelling like a frickin' bar when he came in the morning. So Dave had something against me with him. He used him against me. He wound up getting him fired, but rightfully so. Don't come in smelling like a frickin' bar, man. And Karen can vouch to this entire story, because you know what? She lived through it. Because right after my dad died, it was time for her to get out of Kensington, where that L keeps, you know, you lose your train of thought. The L's like right above her. And so I said, why don't you do this? Move, come work for me, right? Quit the job you're at now. Come work for me, okay? And we have at least 3 years worth of work at this job site. And she moved in with my brother-in-law, Norman. A great treat for her, huh? And I wind up finally ripping her away from Norman this time. And now she lives with me. Finally, the last time that you have to move, Karen, all right? So, Karen, what are you laughing about, Karen? Karen, you stop. Cut it out. You're interrupting me. So, when I had everybody, I told everybody this. Look, you can quit your jobs. Whatever job you have, quit it, because you have work here. Guaranteed. Because I was that confident, because I'm a faithful man, and my tooth wasn't broken. Now, it was a time of trouble for sure. But at first, I didn't think so. I'm thinking, man, this is great. We got like 375 apartments to remodel. And it's all mine. I'm in control of it. But I didn't realize that I had Goliath there, named AKA David. So I didn't realize it was going to be the challenge that it was. But I got what I asked for, because I wanted to take on that job. So I hired my brothers, I hired my cousins, I hired my nephew, I hired his friends, I hired the demo workers, and then I had that was under my payroll. Then I had the painters, I had the plumbers, the electricians, and Karen was my cleaning lady. And Karen, you know, when it came down to it, a lot of the apartments were not ready for her to clean by herself, like a smooth transition. We always had people on top of each other, just constantly, because we needed to get it done, because I was getting set up to fail, okay? And, you know, the ones that hacked in my emails, you got the letter. I wrote 9 pages, okay? 9 pages of facts. The first page was the opening statement. The next 7 pages was nothing but facts. The next 7 pages exactly was nothing but facts. 7 pages. And then the final page was my closing argument as to why I know for a fact that this man was poking holes in my pipes, getting his maintenance manager, getting the ones that worked under him to do it for him. The little, his name was Rollo, too. Rollo, that's so damn funny and coincidental. Because I called him Rollo Polioli. I swear to God, I did. So the similarities are just unbelievable. Now, all these people, and on top of that, the guy that I was working for, now he kind of wasn't paying his bills as time progressed, especially past a year. Once a year passed by, everybody's owed money. Nobody wants to work. It's hard to get people to come to work. But they respected me. They respected me for what I was doing, and I'm the only reason why they stayed, even though they weren't getting paid. And then I would bother the boss to get them paid and not worry about myself. And then I would use money on my own account to pay my guys because I wasn't getting paid. And then I'm behind on my own bills because I am making sure that I pay my guys. That way they can stay there and not leave and quit. So this is the pressure that I was under. Every other apartment was a leak. And it always was the top floor leaking down on the bottom floor. And it always coincidentally happened like a day or two before they had to move into the apartment. It's so coincidental. Now, the guy was yucking it up. He was, especially the one apartment, was like, oh, guy, I don't think you're going to make it. I mean, you're probably going to have to work the entire weekend. I mean, but we can't have this all the time, Robin. And I'm like, yeah, I know, Dave. Can I please work this weekend? Me and all my guys? Because that's exactly what I wanted to do, David. And, he's like, oh, sure, Robin. Oh, well, this time, but we can't make it a habit. Thanks, Dave. You fucking piece of shit. Anyway, so, and on top of that, he was a lecturer. He was the biggest narcissistic prick that I've ever met, besides when I came to YouTube, okay, and met another one. Now, he hated himself on the inside, of course, but on the outside, oh, hey, ladies. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Great day we're having today, huh? Love the sun, ladies. Shut the fuck up. Sorry, I get a little carried away sometimes when I tell the story. Because, you know, these people that are laughing and talking about you behind the doors and the walls, they're going to get theirs. And they always do. Now, he was the biggest prick even to his own maintenance guys. And I felt sorry for Rollo Polioli. I did. Because he was the pawn that David was using to go poke holes in my pipes. It's like being called a false prophet and a liar and an FBI agent and a CIA agent and a shill and all kinds of, you know, false accusations, because I was being falsely accused of not knowing what to do or how to get the job done, even though I was keeping track very carefully of all his ordering habits and patterns, and I would spend more time doing homework just so I can make sure that in the end he gets what he deserves. And in the end he got what he deserved. But the 1.5 year trial and tribulation I had to go through, just like YouTube trial and tribulation I had to go through, the exact parallels to the frickin', oh my God, is it exactly to the T. So what had happened was, as the units continued on, and I got them done just in time, I got them done. Every one. And the unbelievable, the look on his face every time, it's like, oh man, this fucking guy, I don't know what to do, I can't make him fail. No matter how many fuckies I send him, like, you won't stop. And I just tormented him day and night. Just constant torment, because someone is trying so hard to get you fired and get you to fail, and he sends his flunkies after you like roly polioli, and it just didn't work. It didn't work because the will of God, the power behind God when he's on your side, is so tremendously strong. When you're a faithful man in a time of trouble and you have confidence, your teeth are straight, I guess. I mean, but when you're an unfaithful man in a time of trouble, it's like a broken tooth and a joint out of place. Now, unit after unit after unit after unit, it just was a cluster fuck, okay? Unit after unit after unit, but it always got done. And then I had 3 different meetings where basically what he did was he brought me to the attention of the vice president of the company, who kind of knew who it was, but not really. And with these meetings, well, he got to know me even more. And I would tell him, look, the materials aren't here, okay? And it always seems to be like a couple days before the move-in. I gave him the material list from before, and it's not working out. And on top of that, the supervisor, the woman who lived there, which was the second apartment that we did, by the way, and when I seen that Dave was in that unit on his hands and knees painting the fireplace to get it done, oh man, I know he wanted to kill me, because I got his ass up off his fucking chair to do his job. And they hate when they have to rise up and work because their flunkies can't do it for them. So, needless to say, I get a call. Hey, Robin. Yes, Dave. You know, the roof caved in on the apartment there and you know, the supervisor's apartment. The roof caved in on the bedroom. I don't know how it happened, but we're gonna have to get here and get it fixed immediately because she's moving in tomorrow. I'm like, oh, how convenient that a roof fucking collapses in. Especially when we even put nails in the roof to keep it straight, because we would nail the ceilings up. After this unit, we would screw the ceilings, all the drywall in the ceilings, to make sure that doesn't happen again. So, needless to say, Rollo is the one that went up to the attic and kicked it down, you know, like he kind of like kick a little here, kick a little there, kick a little there, until it finally collapses on the ground. All for me. All for me. Can I prove it? No. But my instincts can. And my instincts is what told me, Robin, grab your frickin' book and start writing in it. Okay? Keep track and keep track. Remember the lies. Okay? You know who's lying. So, it collapsed. Oh, man. Good one, Dave. Good one, David. Good one, Dave. So I got everybody to hurry up, go in there, hurry up, screw it up there, put it up there, paint it, spackle it, paint it, all in one day. Clean it, done. She moved in same day. Every apartment from that point on, same thing. I would get phone calls all the time. Why do you think my phone doesn't have a volume anymore? Because of the amount of phone calls I would get from him alone. And then on top of that, okay, knowing damn well that he's the one that did it, he would give me a freaking half-hour lecture. Okay, Dave. Yeah, okay, Dave. Okay, I got it. You're right. Yeah, great. Thanks. I'm so sorry, Dave. Now, here's why he didn't like me. Because I came onto his land. He was there before me, like 3 years or so, 3.5, something like that. Somewhere in around a 3-year category range, I remember him saying. Along with the 3 maintenance guys. And, he was, excuse me. He didn't like that I knew what I was doing and that I was the new guy. Kind of like how I had popped out of nowhere on YouTube. Remember? Don't listen to the guy that people pop out of nowhere like 9 months ago. And I'm like looking like wow, Richie from Boston, that's exactly when I popped up. 9 months ago. That's crazy. I do an imitation of you and you can't stop talking about me for the next week. Amazing, right? Nah, Robin. Nah. Richie doesn't even know who you are. Nobody knows who you are. The elite, they have no clue. The king of media, don't know who you are. The gangstalker, the leader of gang stalking in America, has no clue who you are, Robin. Okay? You're paranoid, and it will destroy you. Can't you tell? Because you're still here doing freaking YouTube videos at least 33 minutes a day, and I gotta watch every one of them, and I'm fucking sick of it! So, he hated the fact that I got him to get up off his fucking lazy ass. Forgive me, Lord, for the passion that I have right now. I must be going to hell if I curse one more time, right? Because it's a work that I do. He didn't like the fact that I was new, and I knew what I was doing, and I knew what I was talking about, and I knew how to get the job done. And I had the backing of God with me. It's crazy. It's so parallel that it's awesome. So, likewise, the same thing's going on YouTube right now. Like I said, there's always going to be someone that pulls up to do something to try to get me off my train of thought, like the train that drives by. So, he didn't like that I was new, that I came on the job, that I knew what I was doing, that, you know, I'm handsome. And also, on top of that, that it's just he was there first. And it bothered him. It bothered him. Because I came into the office, you know, he had his little shed maintenance office there. I came into the office and I had to tell him what to do. I had to tell him what to do. And I wasn't used to telling, you know, top dog, the high-ranking officer there, the high priest of the Milltown, what to do and how to do his job. But that's why he hated me for it. And he knew that I was telling the truth. And he knew that he was lying through all of his teeth. Every one of them, he was lying through every single one of his teeth. Now, I came up to all of his maintenance guys, all three of them. I said, look guys, I'm not going to be the one that gets fired, okay? If anything, your boss is going to get fired, but I'm stepping off beforehand. Because it was stressful. It was, and I even said, and I'll come back to see you guys when it happens. So it was stressful, and it wasn't worth it. And I wasn't getting paid. I wasn't getting paid. The contractors weren't getting paid. I was owed 2,500 hours for 2 years after I stepped off that job. I winded up finally getting paid, you know, because I'm a patient man. What can I say? I'm a patient man. But after all this took place, and the timing was to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm going back to trimming houses for a living because I can just stick with one thing. I don't have to call the plumbers. I don't have to schedule anything. And when one person doesn't show up for the job and I'm scheduling 10 apartments at a time, I have to take the book out and I have to reschedule everything. Oh, it was so much fun. And thanks to Dave the Ficatoro, right? Ficatoro, fictitious, Dave Ficatoro. You can look him up. He's a real person, okay? And if I seen him today, I would say, hey, Dave, how's it going? Hey, look, no hard feelings, man. I had to do my job. And you know that you were poking holes in my pipes. And I know that you were poking holes in my pipes. And apparently the proof is, when I was done, and I handed my pages to the vice president of the company, I said, look, I'm out, man. I did my job. Here's evidence that this guy is, well, lazy, to say it kindly, lazy, and he wanted me to do his job, and that's what it is. He never told me to do his job for him. He never told me to do his job for him. However, I knew that that's what he wanted me to do, because I can see the patterns, and I can see straight through the bullshit every time. So no, he didn't tell me to do his job. He just had the, almost like the gang stalking power, okay? And I knew he had the ability to poke a hole in any pipe that he wanted to. And it can leak downstairs at any given time. And he can blame me for it every single time. I knew it. Circumstantial evidence. I couldn't prove it, but with the 7 pages of facts, the number 7 perfectly, it's just the way it happened. The ones that hacked in my emails, you guys have it. You know exactly what I'm talking. You're reading it right now. You're looking at it right now to see if the story changed, aren't you? It's still the same. It's still the same, because when you tell the truth, the story doesn't change. When you got to remember your lies, you get caught in your lies. That's why you delete videos. So, when it was time for me to step off, I handed in my pages. I said, when you fire this guy, then I'll come back and work for you. But in the meantime, I can't do it. However, when you do fire this guy, there's another guy named Tom that runs the other job. They know who he is. He would be perfect for this job because he lives 5 minutes away. Man. So when I left, I shook everybody's hand. I said, look, I'm out. I'm going back to trimming by myself, solo, okay? It's so much easier that way because I didn't have to run 14, 15 different people at a time and reschedule things constantly and be so stressed out. Because towards the end, it's like I started feeling a lot better because I seen what was going to happen. And so I got a phone call a few months later. I believe it was about 3 months, either 3 to 6 months, I'm not sure. Dave got fired. I'm like, oh, what a shame. What did he get fired for? His ordering habits. He wasn't doing his job. Just like you said, Robin. Would you like to come do some work for us over here at Milltown? Sure, yeah. Actually, I would be thrilled to death to go over there. And then at the time I went to work for another company that was remodeling apartments. I stopped working for the guy I was working because he wasn't paying his bills. So I quit that job because I wasn't getting paid. Why continue to work when you're not getting paid? I stepped off of that job because of what they were doing to me. And but I left a trail of evidence that was going to prove. Oh man, I love proving stuff. So I went back and did some work for the new company that hired me because they well, they seen what kind of work I was doing. I told them too that I got that guy fired. I got him fired. And that's why that company went and took the job. They're like, man, they're like, thanks. So when I went back to see Rollo Polioli, okay, I'm like, hey, Polioli, how's it going, buddy? I'm like, come here, you little son of a bitch. I'm like, how's life over here at Milltown? He's like, oh man, it's great, huh? It's awesome here, huh? I'm like, you're welcome. It's like heaven, isn't it? And they're all like, man, thanks, man. I really appreciate what you've done for us. I said, no problem, man. And I go and see Tom. Hey, Tom, how's it going, man? He's like, hey, Robin, thanks for getting me in this job because I'm 5 minutes away from my house. This is so easy. How couldn't this guy do his job? This job is so freaking easy. I said, I know. It is easy. But when you try to get somebody else to do your job for you, you never learn your role, do you? So I had to say, hey guys, I told you so. Okay, I told you so. Remember when I said, if anything happens, I am not going to be one that gets fired. Your boss will be the one that gets fired, not me. So I gained favor in the eyes of the princes of the land, because that land is my land. That land is your land. From California that's getting burned up to New York Island, it's gonna get swamped under the freaking drain of the swamp with a tornado and some kind of hurricane and Avery and a tsunami. So I was very relieved to go back and talk to the maintenance guys, because after all that time of not trusting me and believing in me, well, they believed me in the end, because the timing was perfect, like always. So I hope you enjoyed the story of David and Goliath, because I am the David and he was the Goliath, even though his name was David. And it's going to happen again. Same thing here on YouTube. Same exact thing, parallel.